Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Macon Campbell and this is maconSTUFF. So guys, part 10. I didn't think I'd get here this quickly, but that being said, I'm pretty sure if I wasn't shooting and editing video of this whole process, I would have probably been finished by now. But I'm headstrong and I'm committed to seeing this project through to the end and bringing you guys along with me. So I haven't got anything specific planned for this video. I'm just in the process of trying to tie up a bunch of loose ends. Some of the things that I mentioned in the previous video that I'd forgotten about. Small things that still need to be done before I can start putting this lower action back together. So this morning I just went ahead and I sanded down the tops of these Pitmans, as I still need to glue some kind of bushing to the top of this. Speaking of which, I have decided that I'm going to go with leather instead of felt. So I also spent some time cutting out a whole bunch of squares out of this leather. This is the same leather that I used for the mutes. So what I'm basically going to do is punch holes into the center of each one of them. I'm going to glue them on as is. I'll basically glue them in place like that, and once they've dried I'm going to go ahead and take a pair of scissors and trim it off around the side, perhaps run it through the belt sander just to clean it up nicely. So enough talking, let's just jump into it and see how far we get. Okay, so before I get back to gluing the leather onto the Pitmans, I'm going to remove the masking tape from all the parts that I've finished. That's always very satisfying, and once I've done that, I'm going to get to doing something that I should have done a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to build a couple of storage boxes for the reeds. As the idea with these paper sleeves, I don't think is going to work out as well. It works fine for just storing them, but once I get to cleaning them, it's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt, because I want to be cleaning these one by one so that I don't get them mixed up, and taking them out of the sleeves, cleaning them, putting them back in. I have a rough idea in my head. I'm not going to explain too much because I might change up my ideas while I'm doing it. So let me do this and then I'll get started on that. Okay, so my first attempt was a disaster. My idea was to route out slots in this MDF for all of the reeds to lie in. So what I did with the router outside, I did a couple of tests here. I set this up to be the width of the actual cutting head, which was 12 millimeters. And my idea was to route out the first slot and then slide it over the next one, over and over until I got all the slots. As you can see, every time I routed out the next slot, the ones in the middle started breaking off. So that is a whole lot less than ideal. So the next idea I had was to take the same piece, and then with my miter saw I set up the depth gauge to cut about halfway through the piece of wood, and then take pieces of 3mm MDF and then glue them in place. Now while that seems like a better idea, I think it's going to take a whole lot longer. So plan number 3, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the reeds, I'm going to lay them out, the front bank, the rear bank and the sub base bank separately, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the overall size of each bank. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure the outline of the entire bank, and then I'm going to route out that shape from small to large, and that way when I stack them in I'll be able to see if any of them are out of order, because they should all go from small to big. And what I'll probably do then is just glue a piece of felt on the inside, fashion some kind of lid that can go over the top, and I will basically have one box for each set of reeds. So I'm hoping this plan is going to work out better than my last 2 plans, so let's give it a go. Okay, there we go. This is the rear set, this is the front set, and that is the sub base set. Something interesting that I noticed, and I don't know if it's supposed to be like this, it runs all the way down to F, and then suddenly one semitone lower, E, is the same as E an octave up. So basically from this E down to the next F is basically repeating this octave. I don't know enough about reeds to know if that's supposed to be like that, but this is the order in which I took them out, so that's how they were inside the organ. So I'm guessing it's supposed to be like that. So what I'm going to do now is just measure it out, and then I'm going to route a cavity that's exactly the same shape as this, so that the storage boxes that I'm going to make can house them exactly like this. So I'm going to put away the router table, which you just saw, that I actually built almost 2 years ago, and I'll probably be routing this out by hand, so wish me luck. Okay, so we can finally get back to gluing the bushings onto these Pitmans. I have some glue warming up here, so as soon as that is warmed up, then I'm going to start gluing them together. I set this up here, which is the guide rail for the Pitmans. The only reason for that is so that I have some way to press the bushing down and seat the glue nicely. So I'm just going to lift this up, apply some glue and place them here in the guide rail, give them a bit of a push. And I'll stack all of the glued ones on here, and once the glue is dry, I'll go ahead and clean it up. It seems that my bull terrier, Bella, also known as Dogzilla, has been sneaking into this office behind me and stealing the leather that I pre-cut for this project. The only reason I know that is because moments ago I just caught her trying to sneak out here with one of the pieces of leather that I cut for the mutes. So after catching her in the act, I decided to go and check what else is missing, and I noticed that out of all of the strips of leather that I cut for the 5 mutes, 2 of them are missing, one of which I found in a turd in my garden, which I'll show you now. But that's not too much of a problem because that's easy to cut and I've still got more of that leather left. The bigger problem is that the whole roll of pigskin leather that I cut for the underside of the pallets is also missing. I don't think I have enough of that leather left to cut all the pieces that I need. So that's going to cost me to go out and find more of that kind of leather, which is quite a bummer, but it is what it is. I can't change it. Now that's only the stuff that I've realized is missing. I really hope that there's not a lot more missing than that. I guess the only thing I can do from now on is to make sure that that door is closed so that the dog can't steal any more of my parts. But anyway, let's not cry over spilt milk. Let's get back to gluing the bushings onto these Pitmans, and if time permits, I will perhaps get started on the keys. Let's see how far we get. Okay guys, so the Pitmans are finally complete, and I also now have a far better solution for the storage of my reeds. I think I'm going to save the keys for the next part because this video is already getting kind of up there in terms of time. I obviously also now have to go and source some new leather for the pallets, thanks to my dog. So I'm not going to use up any more of your time than I need to. Once again, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. So, till next time, keep making stuff.